Jake Paul has made a shocking claim about fighting Conor McGregor. Just when you thought his antics couldn't get any crazier, he says he's ready to face McGregor in the ring. But the conditions he's laid out have left everyone puzzled. Apparently, Conor's manager reached out to MVP about setting up a fight. However, it didn't go anywhere because the fight wasn't linked to the UFC. Jake Paul just dropped this bombshell, and it's turning heads.
He doesn't want to push for unless the UFC is directly at the table negotiating, because quite frankly, that's what it's going to take for any of this to be a reality.
Jake Paul has somehow convinced many that he's the real deal in boxing, and now he's setting up terms that involve UFC or Dana White, or else the fight won't happen. Seriously, Jake Paul? Now you're targeting Conor McGregor, a fighter who's dominated both MMA and boxing? It's unclear if this is the fight we've all been waiting for or if Jake is just looking to grab more attention for his next big reveal. Jake Paul continues to stir things up in the world of combat sports. In his latest claim, he says Conor McGregor's team is desperately trying to set up a fight with him. But instead of going through the usual channels, they've reached out to Bellator's Michael Venom Page to help broker the deal. It's shocking to think that McGregor's team would be going through a rival promotion for this fight.
Having his statement about Conor's manager coming to MVP and trying to set up a fight, but them not doing it because it isn't associated.
As expected, Jake Paul didn't go for the typical approach. Instead of chasing Conor McGregor like everyone thought he would, Jake turned the tables with a bold move. He made it clear that if the UFC and Dana White weren't involved, there would be no fight. Jake wasn't just playing hardball, he was demanding exactly what he wanted, and more. This left people wondering why Jake suddenly insisted on involving Dana White and the UFC in all of this. But let's be honest, this is Jake Paul we're talking about, and his whole career has been about shaking things up and challenging the norm.
But of course, Jake Paul didn't do what we all expected. He didn't jump at the chance to chase McGregor's attention like a dog after a bone. Jake flipped the script with a move so bold. UFC and Dana White must be involved. That's right, there will be no UFC and no fight. Jake wasn't just playing hardball. He was making sure he got exactly what he wanted, and then some more. This demand left everyone wondering why on earth Jake suddenly insisted on Dana White and the UFC being a part of the circus. Let's be real. This is Jake Paul we're talking about, and his entire career is built on disrupting the status quo.
When Jake Paul calls for the UFC's involvement, it's not just a show of strength, he's playing a strategic game. He's tapping into the UFC's global reach, much like a chess master who knows exactly how to make his next move. The UFC and Dana White bring more than just credibility. They offer worldwide recognition, power, and a massive...
I'm just saying, for the UFC to grant Conor McGregor the right to fight Logan Paul, and Dana hates the Pauls, you know how Dana holds grudges.
By throwing down this challenge, Jake Paul is playing a clever game. He's forcing the UFC, an organization that once dismissed him as a joke, to acknowledge him as a legitimate contender in the fight world. Jake isn't just asking for recognition, he's demanding it. Now, the UFC is in a tough spot. They have to decide whether to ignore him or bring the fight to a global audience, which could completely change how fights are negotiated moving forward.
You guys see the Logan Paul, Conor McGregor wins in that fight? I think Logan Paul.
I mean, we haven't seen Conor fight in a while.
I feel like Logan Paul, at his size, when he fought Floyd too, that was years ago. He's like been training, he's in insane shape.
Man, I wish Conor wasn't doing these.
As if the rumors about a Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor fight weren't intriguing enough, there's now talk about where this mega showdown could take place. ESPN's Salvador Rodriguez shared an exciting detail. The fight between Logan Paul and Conor McGregor might happen in India sometime between July and September 2025. And the powerhouse behind it? The Ambani family, known for their immense wealth and influence. With the Ambanis reportedly backing the event, what could have been just another fight might now turn into a global spectacle.
$100 billion family looking to kind of replicate what's going on in Riyadh.
Choosing India as the location for this fight isn't random, it's a strategic move. India is one of the fastest growing markets for combat sports, with a huge, untapped audience eager for more. By bringing such a major event there, the promoters aren't just focusing on India, they're sending a message to the world. This is where the future of global sports is headed. And, of course, there's the money. With the Ambani family involved, we're not talking small change. With a net worth of $113.5 billion, Asia's richest family could easily fund this fight without a second thought. Hosting the fight in India isn't just about entertainment, it's about changing the financial landscape of combat sports. Jake Paul and Conor McGregor wouldn't just be throwing punches, they'd be making history while cashing in on both dollars and rupees.
He's a big dude, and he can crack.
Yeah.
And I always say that people look at him like a guy who is a YouTuber, and they're denying his skills.
Not anymore, bro.
The timing couldn't be more perfect. With no major global sporting events dominating mid-2025, all eyes would be on India. This isn't just a fight, it's a strategic power move, an epic, money-packed spectacle that could change the game for where and when the biggest bouts in history take place. Now, let's take a closer look at the fighters themselves. Conor McGregor, the man who won world titles in 2 different weight classes, brings a reputation for explosive knockout power. Then there's Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned boxer, who has somehow managed to convince people that he's a legitimate threat in the ring. McGregor's fighting style is as flashy as his personality, relying on his lightning-fast knockout power to end fights quickly.
One, it does show us that this is a Jake Paul-driven thing going on here, and that Conor McGregor makes sense because he's probably still...
Then there's Jake Paul, who's carved out a boxing career that can't be ignored. From social media star to a legitimate fighter, Jake has made waves and stirred up plenty of controversy. As of November 2024, his professional record stands at 11 wins and just 1 loss, with that lone defeat coming from Tommy Fury in February 2023, not too bad, right? And let's not forget, Jake also scored an amateur win over Deji in 2018, bringing his overall...
Logan said you might be next. Would you be next?
Slap that nose off. He's gonna beat Logan.
This whole situation highlights that Jake Paul is calling the shots, and Conor McGregor makes perfect sense as his target. He's likely still one of the biggest names in combat sports. But the real question is, why does this matter? By demanding the UFC's involvement, Jake is challenging not just McGregor, but the entire UFC system. He's pushing back against Dana White's monopoly on combat sports, while also daring White to recognize Paul's promotion, MVP, as a legitimate player in the industry. This is a calculated move, not just a stunt. Jake is looking to shake up the traditional power dynamics in fight promotions. If he gets his way, it could lead to more cross-promotional mega events, breaking down the barriers between independent fighters and the corporate giants. Imagine a world where MVP and the UFC co-promote, combining Jake's social media savvy with the UFC's established global reach. It's a game-changing move that could forever shift the balance of power in the fight world.
As crazy as it sounds now, based on how I felt about this 4 years ago, that Jake Paul would give Conor McGregor real problems in a boxing ring and potentially knock him out.
The potential fight between Jake Paul and Conor McGregor isn't just about egos. McGregor's public image has taken a few hits recently, with legal issues, sponsorship losses, and a series of underwhelming performances in the octagon. A fight with Jake might seem beneath him, but it could also be an opportunity. This isn't just another fight for McGregor, it's a chance to remind everyone why he's still the notorious Conor McGregor. Meanwhile, Jake Paul isn't just making random calls for fights, he's playing chess while others are stuck on checkers. By targeting MMA legends like McGregor, he's positioning himself as the ultimate disruptor, someone who doesn't just box but challenges the entire system of combat sports. What makes this rivalry so exciting isn't just who would win in the ring, it's the story behind it. Jake, the social media provocateur, takes on McGregor, the king of chaos in combat sports. It's legacy versus disruption, the old guard versus the new wave, and, most importantly, it's pure entertainment gold. This rivalry has the potential to change the game completely. If Jake Paul faces Conor McGregor, it won't just be a fight, it'll be a blueprint. It will prove that cross-discipline matchups can work, that social media stars can hold their own against seasoned professionals, and that the fight world is evolving in ways we never expected. Whether you love it or hate it, you can't deny the impact. This isn't just a rivalry, it's a revolution. So, is Jake Paul bluffing, or is this fight closer than we think? With all the drama, speculation, and jaw-dropping twists he loves to throw in, it's tough to say. What do you think? Does Jake actually stand a chance against McGregor, or is this just another stunt to stir the pot and grab headlines? Drop your predictions in the comments below, and stay tuned, we'll keep you updated on every twist in the Paul brothers' fight schedules, plus the role the Ambani family could play. Buckle up, because things are about to get even crazier in the fight world.